Hey Pisces, this is your reading for the month of April 2021. The way I like to do this is I start with the visions and then I go from there to oracle cards and then, oracle cards tarot cards and then oracle cards as guided. So as far as you for when I was doing my meditation for you, the vision I get for you is, it's almost like, is it the gondolas? Are gondolas the ones where you stand up in it and you're having to, row the boat? And usually it's like other people are sitting there and you're in the, there's the person guiding it standing. I feel like for you, and it feels like you are the person. So it feels like what it is you're standing in this boat, this gondola thing, and you're rowing it and trying to take it somewhere or whatever, or wherever. But in it, there's nobody in there with you. And I swear usually the way that works is, I could be totally wrong. So please, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I could swear that usually, and it doesn't make sense to me, but usually in the gondolas when there's like a couple ride or something, when people are riding in it, and then the person that's taking that boat is at the back of the boat and they're doing the paddling or they're using the oars or whatever, and this one you're at the front and you're doing it and there's nobody else there, but you're just frantically searching. And I just get that feeling. For some of you it may be someone stepped out, it may be you're searching for a place where you can rest and you can get out because you're kind of tired of being in the boat. Yeah, I wish I knew more about those kind of boats. I could have looked it up, but I kind of didn't want to because I wanted it to be more organic. And so therefore, I didn't want to be influenced by anything I was looking up. So, if that resonates for you, if that says anything to you, if that's how you feel, let me know. But let's get into the cards first. I'm going to do the tarot cards first. This is one of my favorite decks. I almost want to, I need to figure something out because the boxes, I either need to get a case or a bag or something for it, but I don't like storing my decks that way. But I need to do something because I want it to last. This is one of my favorite decks. It's actually one of the first ones I've gotten before, or I got when I first started. So don't know why I'm doing that way, and I don't read reversals. So let's see what's going on with you guys, Pisces. Spirit, God, universe, show me, what does Pisces need to know for the month of April, especially in regards to the vision in the beginning? What does Pisces need to know for the month of April, especially in regards to the vision in the beginning? What does Pisces need to know for the month of April, especially in regards to the vision in the beginning? And I do feel a lot for different signs and different people, the empathy and the energy and stuff. But yeah, the Pisces energy right now, you guys it seems like some of you are going through something really heavy. I'm a Pisces rising, so but I try to disconnect with anything of myself or anybody I know because I'm not trying to tap into people I know. I'm trying to tap into the collective. But I know last reading was pretty heavy, so yeah, it's feeling heavy. So let's see, what does the universe have to say to Pisces for sun, moon, rising, whatever fits for you, whatever you have Pisces in your chart, this can resonate. And take what resonates, leave the rest. My job here is just to be a guide, inspiration. Spirit, God, universe, what do you have for Pisces for the month of April, especially regarding to that vision? think I'm just going to pull, I think 3 cards. And I don't, like I said, I don't read reversals. Yeah, there we go, Tower again. So, the Tower, let me make sure this is all correct. And here, let me get rid of anything shading the area. There we go. The Tower, 3 of Swords, and Page of Swords. So, some of you are seeing this, and I said this in one of my other readings. I can't remember if it was... Is Aries the one? Aries had a tower here, but I think it was Gemini had the tower right here. Or maybe it was Virgo. I don't remember. But anyways, one of the other readings had the tower as the first card, and that was one of the things I noticed was you as well as them, I believe. Some of you are seeing this as you're coming to a tower situation where things that you've held onto are crumbling, and things that you've had as your base and your structure and what you've... I said held on to, but what you've relied to be able to stand on is crumbling. Some of you, it's a situation where you're afraid of that. And so that's like the first thing you're afraid of. You're afraid of this thing crumbling. You're afraid that this is what you're coming to. I do see, normally I don't see this in this card so much, but the lightning in this, it almost looks like lightning, is hitting it in a way to where it's almost like it looks like it was like sliced on purpose. So some of you, it might be a situation to where it feels like specific things, like you know exactly why things have crumbled, or you know why things are crumbling, and you feel like you're questioning, some of you may be questioning as to, is this a matter of the circumstances, like was this inevitable, or is this a situation where, you know, I could have prevented this, or I could have prevented the outcome either way. There are birds here, and I mean, normally the tower is a situation where when things crumble, it opens the way for new growth and something new and a new beginning. And that's one of the things with this, is there's the birds there, and I just feel the life and the energy in that. Yeah, it seems like this is mostly in your heads, though. This isn't saying it's not real, but you guys are dealing with this inside right now, mentally, intellectually, verbally, communication, where you're dealing with this situation. You may have been, 3 of Swords. It's a grief, heartbreak, loss. I mean, some of you, this is why the tower is crumbling, is because you're going through this right now. But I feel like, in a way, part of your light here, not light, but it's almost like energetically, like what you're giving off to this side, because this is the same side that's going away. So it's almost like as you're standing here and you're looking at, if this is relational, or if this is the situation that you're in, the more you look at it in this state of grief and pain and just choosing to face it, the more like it shows that it's like disintegrating. Like it's almost like an ice cream cone. Like, it was only solid because it was frozen. Ultimately, it's a liquid. I'm not saying that that's the case. I mean, but it's weird. It's like it's changing elements. It's changing from one to the other. So, whereas like a building doesn't really melt, but that's kind of what I'm seeing, is like it's melting. It's not even necessarily just crumbling, it's melting. But the thing is when it melts, it's in water here. So when this melts, is it just going to look all the same? Is it going to be as if like it never was in the first place? And some of you might be thinking that, when this crumbles down, when this goes away, am I going to miss it? Like, is this something that I'm going to miss being gone? Or is it going to just crumble up and just be like everything else, like as if it never was? How is this going to look from afterwards, after the fact? Also, it's funny, like she's got the heart here and there's the swords, like usually in this card. But then there's the flowers and the roses here. I just feel like, I know this is, stones or whatever, but for some of you, you feel like when you're in this situation and you're in this heartbreak situation and you're looking at everything, you feel like you might have forced things, whether you forced yourself to be this person, this loving person, or you forced to the other person. Some of you may feel like you were restricting, like your love was restricting this formation. I know this is like rocks, but even in general, like it's like if your love was restricting, like if in a relationship, or I mean your care. So even for those of you that this isn't romantic, I mean, I really believe this is so far pretty romantic looking, but it feels like that at least. Yeah, you might be feeling like it was restricting, like it was restrictive. And it's funny because she still has the rose here. So it's like she's asking like, okay, well, do I put it back here? Do I put more on? Do I start pulling them from there? Like, you know, she might even be trying to figure out like, were the roses there because of me, or were they there already? Like, who's the one restricting? And you might be thinking that yourself, like, who's the one restricting this? Were you restricting the other person, or was the other person in their love and their care and trying to please you restricting themselves? And ultimately, though, it just is all heartbreak because it was restricting, and it's funny too because there's the 3 crows here, and then there's a ton there, birds, but there's 3 crows here, and then 3 swords here, and I feel like it's kind of like saying like, because these guys are here and these are here, so it's like even though you're in this heartbreak situation, that everything has its purpose, everything is in line, everything is divinely guided. You know, even though this time hurts, even though you're in this place of heartbreak and hurt right now. And some of the roses are on the ground too. So it's like some of it might, this person, you know, the person you're dealing with, for those of you that this is 2 people, I know this is a rock, but symbolically that's what I feel. For those of you that this is 2 people, it may really feel like they feel like some of their roses they've given might be going to like not being received by you. So it just feels like, I mean, it's a disconnect regardless. And this is the thing, is this is what you're feeling in your mind, but this is kind of the outcome of what's in your mind and what you're going through, like what it's doing to your mind, what you're feeling. It's just this heartbreak. There's also an element of surrendering right there. Like she looks like she's surrendering. Like it's gotten the heart, and the heart is outside of her, so she feels vulnerable, and so she feels like she's surrendering to it. Like she's just like, you know what, maybe this is what's supposed to be. And some of you, even if you're not surrendering, you might be toying with that idea of like, if I surrender to this heartbreak, if I do that, am I gonna make it to where this isn't gonna crumble so painfully? Am I gonna make it to where this person doesn't feel like they have to be so restricted? Or, you know, are things gonna show more clearly and more for what they really are, to where everything will be smoother and easier? And then the Page of Swords is generally it's a messenger of, you know, it's mental connection, mental and verbal. And so, I mean, some of you may be dealing with, you know, messages, both, you know, verbal, mental connection, you know, opportunity for messages, but some of it's also opportunities for that. So I feel like this is 2 sides of you. Like this side of you is like so broken and dealing with that. And then this is the other side of you that's like, you know what, I'm going to take the opportunities as they come. I feel like, I know this is like swords, and swords is logic and mental and verbal, but a lot of you, it may be a situation where like she's got her feet on the ground, where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna like, and then there's this bird's here and this bird's here. There's an element of sides, taking sides, and you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna stand my ground. You know, so you might be in this position, you might be here, but you're really trying to take this mentality in this situation of standing your ground and of not allowing this to happen again, not going into the mentality that causes a person to do that, or that causes a situation to do that. Again, there's a 3 there, 3 crows, 4, 5 crows. It's like, it's all, I mean, they're not necessarily corresponding, so I'm not going to say it's the same way, divinely guided. It's not that it's not, I'm just saying. There's also an element to where that light on her sword lights up this area really well, and like it's almost like shining the light. And so it's like your communication, you might be growing a lot in this situation, you might be in pain and grief and everything, but the more you either fight for it or fight for yourself in it, for your stance, and, you know, trying to be present in everything happening so that you can actually mindfully make your decisions and mindfully come to these conclusions, you might really be shining a light with that sword, with that communication, with the thoughts. So it's like you're coming to this independent place while you're feeling like this, but really in a way you might be shining a light. You might be, I feel like shining a light, but also like, it's almost like, I know they're not moths, but it's almost like moths to a flame. Like when you shine that light, then like you attract higher vibrational things, higher vibrational stuff. So you might be bringing good to you as you stay strong and stay positive. I know not positive, I mean, this is sad, but stay to where you respect yourself throughout all this. So I think this is really telling you, like, you can look at this and you can feel sorry, not sorry, but, you know, sad that it's happening, and, you know your place in it, know all that. But you still have the power to bring higher vibrations to you and bring blessings to you and bring new things that don't copy that pattern that you've put yourself in, that you've allowed that to happen before. So it doesn't seem like you're going to continue. Like, it doesn't seem like, even if you get out of this situation, even if there's this phase ending, it seems like as long as you stay positive and you stay respecting yourself and knowing who you are, standing your ground, you're going to be the messenger. You're going to be the messenger of the light inside you. You're going to be the messenger. So when your vibe attracts your tribe. So you might have been around situations that weren't as much you, or felt like they needed to change to be around you, people. And I mean, both in relational sense and like romantic sense and friendship as well. But you're going to start attracting people that actually follow the light, follow the higher vibrations, follow the light inside you that's starting to come out too. So they follow that same thing. So it's like yeah, I mean, you'll attract your tribe. As far as the vision, that's the thing too, is with the vision, you're rowing in the front, whereas so it's like, you normally, those boats, people row in the back and you have somebody in there, but you've kind of just done your own thing. You're like, you might be seeking and you're hurting right now because of all this, but you're rowing in the front by saying okay, I don't need to take people with me. I don't need people to believe how I believe or feel the way I feel. But I still need to find my tribe. I still need to find the land and make my land mine. I need to do me. And so that's why you're in the front of the boat and you're not oblivious, but you really don't care that there's nobody there with you. Your main thing is that you're trying to keep moving and you're searching. And I don't feel like it's an obsessive search. It's just broken. You've been hurt and you're staying standing. Just like in that boat, she could just be like, you know what, let me sit down for a little bit. There's no one here anyways. And no, you're literally just, I'm going to keep going. So that's what I feel like with that. Hope that's resonating for you guys. I'm going to pull from the Shamanic Healing deck. This is, again, a mini deck. I mean, this is all it's swords, tower, but it's a lot of darkness. This card, this deck, the Crystal Visions deck isn't always so dark. So I feel in each time, there's light coming from you. There's light. So really it's a matter of not giving in to the darkness around you. So even if this person's in darkness and there's darkness here and there's darkness, don't give in to that for yourself. You can allow other people to be where they are and heal in their levels, not levels, their rates, but you be your light. Spirit, God, universe, what do you have for Pisces? What does Pisces need to hear? Oops, okay, that didn't shuffle. What does Pisces need to hear for the month of April 2021? Spirit, God, universe, what does Pisces need to hear for the month of April in 2021? Especially in regards to the message and the vision so far today. just going to pull one card. Stripping illusions. There you go. So you can say you're just this, and you can say you're just this, but ultimately you're going through a full phase, and you should be allowing yourself to be changing in phases. It's funny too, because they're like this way and this way, and like there's so much balance in that card in a way. And I feel like sometimes you might be trying to create balance. You might have tried to create balance. For those of you that this is a romantic situation, you might have tried to create balance with this person, but sometimes it was an illusion. Like, if they had to change to feel like they were good enough for you, and you had to feel like sometimes you weren't sure, like, if that was for you or if that was for them, the roses. Like, it's a matter of creating balance. Or not creating balance, but knowing that the balance that was helping the tower stand may have been kind of a fabrication on both of your parts. But ultimately, really what it is stripping illusions. It's not even labeling anything as a fabrication or what it is or that. It's seeing things for what they are. So if you were in the wrong and, you know, you were the one doing so much of this, and you were, say for those of you that you were like making the other person feel, you know, restricted, you know, you need to understand that anything that they were doing in that, it wasn't for you, or it wasn't for them, it was for you, and therefore, like, it's temporary. It's only, you know, to please you at that moment. And they mean well, and you meant well, but it's like sometimes the balance is an illusion, and, you know, you need to be true to yourself. I'm gonna do something, because this is very relational looking. Let me see. I think I'm gonna pull from a relationship one, just to give you guys a little bit more. So these cards, I think I'm gonna pull one. We'll see if as I shuffle I decide differently, but I feel it differently. But yeah, true love reading cards. Spirit, God, universe, what message do you have in regards to this for our people who are seeing this reading and are dealing with a relationship situation, or Pisces, for the month of April, especially in regards to the vision? Wait, let me see something. There's something else I want to say about that too, so. I'm just going to put this aside really quick. I want to say this. So the stripping illusions thing, part of that too is like you might be, you know, in the gondola, like the vision, and, you know, you're in this boat, and for some of you, you might feel like you're the one guiding it, and you're the one using the oars and moving it and everything. But because normally that boat, you know, in the past you may have been in it and had somebody else guiding, you might be looking at the situation as equivalent to when someone else was guiding. And so you might be in the situation where you're the one guiding and you're the one in charge of your path in this, yet you're giving yourself the credit, or you're still kind of taking a back seat mentally about it, as if you were the one sitting down. So you're doing the right thing by jumping up, but you're also kind of like, you're not used to this stance. And so you're kind of like, in your mind, it's like your body is up there and is moving it and everything. But in your mind and your heart, you're still, you know, the one sitting down being guided. And so there's an illusion situation that there's like, you know, you need to strip that down, because you need to see yourself for where you are. So if you're doing a lot of work and yet you're talking to yourself, your inner talk or your understanding of yourself is that of what you were maybe like years ago. You know, you can't do that to yourself. You have to understand you've actually grown a lot. You've come really far to even be able to handle this way. And so this is your time to shine, not your time to feel obligated to lead or obligated to drive the car, I was going to say, but you know, it's not an obligation. It's your time to shine because you were made for so much more than the limited possibilities that you've put in your mind since being guided and since being, you know, some of you in this partnership. So a lot of you may have, in your relationships and your past stuff, may have taken a back seat a lot of times, so much so that you don't even recognize your own voice. And so you're coming to this place to where you're called to talk, called to speak, but you have to look at yourself as that. You can't look at yourself as this little, you know, damsel in distress, because you're so much more than that. Though that might have been a phase at some point you've been in, that doesn't mean that's who you are right now. I just had to add that for some of you. Spirit, God, Universe, what message do you have Pisces in regards to this? Relationships. The month of April. Soulmates. But that's the thing. It's like, that's what I'm seeing in this, is the soulmates card. But, I mean, some of you, maybe it is a soulmate situation, it's a tie, and, you know, you're struggling with all that and everything. But what I do see in this, because a lot of times with these decks, I read them more by the picture, and then I kind of look at the words. But this person, this one wing is covering up this one. So it's like, you might be soulmates, you might have worked together and felt like soulmates and everything, but you allowed yourself to be covered up, some of you. And so you allowed yourself, so you said, oh, we're working together, but in that working together, you lost sight of yourself. So really this is a matter of, you're in this position right now because you're not trying to allow that kind of pattern to happen again. It's not because it was a person you're with's fault, but the energy you put out that that's okay to be covered up and that's okay to lose yourself is what you attracted. So right now you're attracting a lot different energy. You're going to be a light to be better, for better energy. Trying to see if there's anything else in this. And these are like, I mean, they look like both like shells, open, half open shells, but they also look like angel wings. There's like all this light going through and everything's going through and all this amazingness. But just because I just keep hearing just because everything was amazing, it doesn't mean the way you handled yourself or allowed yourself to be hidden or took a back seat. And I'm not saying, you know, at the expense of the other person. I'm saying literally you, like, a lot of times some of you may have just gotten really comfortable and kind of volunteered to disappear. And that just hit everything for you. And together you made all this light, but sometimes it was like, well, if you're being covered up and you're this amazing, beautiful thing, but you can see them fully, but you're getting covered up. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's still being covered up. It's a weird, it's not an equal balance there. And sometimes for some of you, you've done that for so long in your life that you're so used to that feeling and you're so used to being ready to disappear so that the other person can shine, that's what you feel like a soulmate is somebody that takes over and just lets you sit down and enjoy how beautiful they are or how great what they make is or how great what you make together can be while you're still like hiding yourself. So some of you really feel like that's a soulmate connection because that's all you've known. And that's that not tug, but you know, the tide that gets created. And you're in this place to learn new things right now, to learn to be a light so you don't need that kind of tie happen. I'm really excited for you guys. I hope that resonated for you. Let me know if it did and how and what resonated and what didn't and what you want to hear and all that good stuff. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. really ultimately for you guys, I mean, the main thing is just being true to yourself, is to, you know, stripping the illusion that you've been, you know, shining, or not shining, but, you know, that you haven't been hiding yourself, that you haven't been thinking you're, you know, treating yourself like you're in the back, but now you're in the front, and you're like, you know, you're in a different phase right now. You don't have to act like you have in the past for yourself. You don't have to hide to survive anymore. I feel like saying that to some of you. You don't have to hide to survive. So, but yeah, so I will see you next time. Like I said, my intention for all these readings is that they resonate when you need them, you hear them, and you receive them right when you're going to be actually in a place to accept and take the message and have it help you in your life. So if that's April, that's April. But if, you know, you see this in May or June, hey, then maybe it's for you then, if it resonates. But yeah, I will see you next time. Yes, goodbye.